So the first thing I do when it comes to all my models is I want you to relax, okay? So I usually have the girls even warm up a little. Do a little yoga, you know, stretch your arms. This is all about understanding your whole body, okay? So when you walk in normal life, when you pose in normal life, it's usually just kind of something subtle like this or like that, or, you know, very light. When it comes to modeling, you're gonna wanna do what we call fill the frame. So in a camera, there's a frame like this, right? Just like if you think about a photograph, right? They're 4x6s, right? So you wanna fill the whole frame. You don't just wanna be a center, you know, a dot in the center. That's not very interesting. But as soon as you can take your arms and go big, you can pull this one out and you're filling a whole entire frame. You're coming from one side of the frame, you're making maybe an S curve and going all the way to the other side. You want your legs, your arms, everything to be dynamic, right? So if you can fill a frame, maybe have an arm kind of fall out of a frame, stuff like that, it's interesting, okay? So we're gonna work today a lot on, understanding your body. We're gonna work on something called body breaking, flow posing, and touch point posing. Do you know what those are?
No.
No. Okay, it's pretty simple. It's just basically, modeling's all about understanding your body and how it moves and how many different ways you can move it. So on an everyday level, we actually don't use a lot of our joints to their fullest, you know? If we stand, we might just kind of stand like this, hand on hip, right? But when you're modeling, all of a sudden, you're really throwing at that hip, right? You're throwing at that shoulder, right? So normally when you stand, you would never throw at your shoulder so much, right? But you're gonna over-exaggerate everything.
So it's like being in the theater as opposed to being on, you know, just being in everyday life. You know, if you're in theater, you have to go.
Exactly.
You really have
We're
to
exaggerated.
Okay,
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna breathe. First thing I like to do with everybody is make sure they have good posture. So you're already tall, which is really nice, but good posture, no matter what height you are, is key. So I always say breathe in, like you have a tall string pulling through you, and breathe out. Before you go on the runway, I always tell the girls, breathe 3 times. It's gonna elongate you, make your neck nice and long, give you long posture. It's gonna relax your shoulders, and then I want you to just roll. Here you go. Get your joints relaxed, get your arms moving, your hands moving, your wrists moving, right? There you go, see?
Yeah, I do.
And we're gonna go out this way. I just want you to get comfortable. We're gonna move our hips. We're just gonna, see, I want your hips to slowly roll more and more. Get bigger and bigger, right? Because some of the best models are all dancers. Okay, I shake out my wrists because I'm gonna wanna use my hands and my fingers and my wrists a lot. I don't wanna have them stiff, all right? So that's the first thing we do is just relax, right? So now you're relaxed. You've got good posture, which is key already. So you're set. So we're gonna do the first thing is called body breaking. It's gonna be understanding that your body can break in so many different ways. So if you think about it, there's a break in your arm over here by the elbow, right? There's also a break in your wrist, a break in your fingers, right? So some people will just give you, it's what I call, there's a couple things I don't like. One is called Pledge of Allegiance hands. They're so nervous, they're so stiff, everything they do is like this. You know, they go like this, right? They're stiff. I need nice, soft, gentle hands, right? There you go, see? Rather than like this, right? So now we're using all of our finger joints. I used my hip over here and I broke my body over by the waist, right? I also broke at my knee. So basically breaking is like bending, right? So I bent my knee, popped my hip, bent my arm, bent my other arm. Now I've got an empty space here. It's called a negative space, which is interesting. I bent on my wrist, bent my fingers, pulled my shoulder forward like this, and now all of a sudden I'm a lot more dynamic, right? Rather than just standing like this, right?
Right.
So it's understanding all the different joints that you can move or bend, even your head. So even if you had a pose like this and you bend your head, it's a lot more interesting, right? You have a ponytail, right? So you could take your ponytail and like that. Exactly. See how cool that is, right? So there's a lot of ways you can move your body, and I want you to get comfortable with all the different ways so that you can use stools and props, and understand how you can make a pose very dynamic.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So it won't be plain.
Yeah, so most people just kind of, they go from one side, they go to the other side, hands on hips, and they turn this way.
Right. And
Yeah.
it goes in that frame. I like that.
Right? I want you to be able to go big. I want you to be able to go large. I want you to be able to go forward. You know, I want you to go in all directions. I want you, the best models aren't just the prettiest. The best models understand how to pose and kind of hit it, right?
Okay.
So next thing is called flow posing, right? So flow posing is a little bit like a dance, right? So most of the times when you go into a modeling job, the photographer is not going to give you any direction. They're basically going to have a lot of models there for the day, a lot of outfits, you know, wardrobe from different designers, and it's going to be like hit it. As soon as you get in front of the camera, they're going to say, go. And it's up to you to come up with as many poses as you can with what you're wearing, right? So you're going to have to be able to flow with your poses. So we don't want you to be a deer in headlights and be like, this, right? I want you to be able to make it like a dance. So everything should be fluid. So I always tell everybody, if you ever get nervous, there's really only 2 things you have to do. Okay, go to your go-tos and keep it super simple, okay? One of them is just hip, sway to the left, sway to the right? Super simple, right? Now you can turn your body a little bit like this. You can move your hand up. Move your hand this way, you can go this way. But literally, we're just going from left side to right side, right?
Okay.
And it soon gets you into the motion, right? And the next one is really just forward and backwards. Forward and backwards. And from there, you can go like this. You can take your hair, right? And if you want to, you can throw it up. You can do whatever you want with it, play, right? But it's really a forward and backwards motion, right? So we're going side to side, right? We're going forward and backwards. Always rolling the hip, moving the hands with. There you go. Nice
Also
top
incorporate
posture.
all the 3 together, but so far 2.
Right, so basically, if you get nervous and you don't know what to do, just remember, sway left to right, sway forward to backwards, right?
Okay.
And then from there, just keep adding more and more things. Your
okay.
arms, your
To make it more
swing.
dynamic. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
So don't get worried because a lot of times models go into jobs and they're
Right.
like freeze and they get nervous.
They're
So
like,
if you
"Oh,
can
wait a
just say to yourself, okay, Monica told me all I have to do is start left to right. Let me just start swaying and moving.
Count, right?
Almost like dancing, right?
Right,
You get
okay.
into the groove slowly, right?
Okay.
And then what I have everybody do is what I call a rotisserie chicken. Okay, so if you can keep life silly and fun, it's easy to remember, right? So a rotisserie chicken is basically, what does a rotisserie chicken do on a spigot?
Right, it goes, it rolls.
It turns,
Yeah,
and
it
turns,
turns,
and
and
turns, right? So a lot of models will come in and they get stuck. You know, they give me a pose, always face forward, and then always to the side, right?
Or their favorite, their favorite pose. I'm
Yeah.
sure they repeat it over and over.
So you can actually repeat some of your poses, but it'll look very different on camera if you turn, right?
Okay.
So this pose, like this, looks one way this way, right? But now if I turn this way, and I'm looking over the shoulder,
Oh, it does look different.
it looks very different, right? So you can so much as kind of repeat your poses, even like this, and then you go like this.
Oh, but just add a
right,
side.
and you go like over your shoulder.
Oh, right.
It's all the same pose that I did, but on camera, it's gonna look very different. You're gonna come out so much more dynamic. So if you run out of poses, just remember, just keep turning yourself. Rotisserie chicken,
Oh, we're great. And then it could even also be, what is this, 45, just keep going within the half circle, and then
Yeah.
to 40, to 90.
no, you can go all the way. You can
180.
even go this way
Oh.
and come back around, right? And then supermodel is what I call it. So when you're facing this way, you come back around, you're like, hey.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I call supermodeling.
Oh, that's what you got.
Yeah, so you come out, hey, right? And make sure you can say the vocalize the word,
Okay.
hey. You know, if you need a sexy smirk, right? But it's neat, it's very natural because when you actually do the full movement like that, you're so natural in your face when you come around because you're not thinking about it. Your body's in motion, so your brain is thinking your body, moving, staying balanced, all that other stuff. So your expression just comes out naturally. You say, hey, or you're like, you know, whatever it is.
Hey.
There you go, right?
Okay.
So rotisserie chicken,
Rotisserie
side
chicken.
to side,
Front.
forward and backwards.
Okay.
right? Loosen our limbs, keep our
That's
joints
the outset.
loose,
Mhm.
right? There you go. So now a lot of people come in and they're like, okay, body breaking, I understand. Flow posing, I can move with it. I can pose. I'm a great dancer. And they just keep, moving and moving and moving, and it's almost like a dance. But as a photographer, you don't want to catch someone in mid-action. If all you're doing is kind of dancing and moving, I'm going to get a lot of
pause for a point.
Right.
Right. Okay.
The photographer is going to get a lot of pictures where you're halfway to your pose, but not at the pose.
Oh, wow.
So you're going to want to do something where you're like,
It's
1,
like a still.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, touch, 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 right? But I want to stop each time, right? So I always say touch. So it's called touch point posing. So now you're taking the body breaking in terms of you know how to use your arms, you know how to use your legs, you know how to break your body or bend your body, right? Now we know how to flow all those poses and movements, right? Now we need to time it. Okay?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because
So if you're just like this,
right,
and
because you can be all
this,
over
and
the
this,
place. Right, you can
yeah,
be really into it. The music can be going, and then you just going out, spinning out of control.
exactly.
Okay.
I mean, you're having fun, which is great, but your
Right.
photographer is getting you going.
Right.
You know?
You're like, wait, stop! Don't hold that.
Right. So as soon as you get a pose, I need you to click,
Okay.
click, 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 click. Come around, right? Click, 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 click. Right?
That's so good.
So think in your head. Click, 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 click.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do it a little too fast.
Well, but still, yeah.
So if you can time yourself, practice it a little bit more,
How many
and
seconds?
time it so the clicking is more like, you think of the photographer's camera.
Mhm.
Click, click, click. Good. Click, 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 click.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not just
right.
like,
exactly. Click, click.
you
with
know?
the photographer's camera. That's so perfect.
There
So
you go. So you're
appropriate.
clicking and stopping.
Right,
for
now
them.
that makes much
Right?
more sense.
And every time you say click in your head, you
And
know
then
you're also
it's-
hitting
you
an
know.
expression with it too.
Right, okay. All right.
Make sense?
Totally. Wow.
Very simple things, but make a big difference.
Hmm.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is hands.
Okay, right.
So a lot of people don't know what to do with their hands.
Exactly. Right, thank you. All right.
So hands, there's just a couple of rules of thumb for me.
Okay.
Okay, I like to keep it simple. Always shake them out.
Yeah.
I want nice ballet fingers, right? Or if you think of the old Hollywood movies, they used to have those old long
Darling.
cigarettes. Yes,
Oh,
right? But their
right.
hands and wrists are always like this. So that's what I want from you.
They're always so dynamic. Yeah. Okay.
So
great
no
stuff.
Pledge of Allegiance hands.
Oh, right. Okay. No.
Right? So even like on the belly, it makes you look like you're pregnant when you go something like this. I want gentle hands, gentle fingers, okay?
Okay.
So we keep them loose. No hammer hands. A lot of people, for some reason, give me these kind of hands, or they give me a claw.
Because they're so nervous.
Yeah, or they give me the fist,
Oh,
which for a
right,
guy is
that's
not
okay.
so bad.